Stop chasing perfection. Progress is better than perfection. Have you ever had a dream that you kept postponing? Maybe you wanted to write a book, start a business, create videos, learn something new, improve your health, change your life. But every time you thought about beginning, another voice appeared inside your mind. I'm not ready yet. I need to learn more. I need better equipment. I need more confidence. I need more money. I need to make sure I can do it perfectly. And so you waited. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Sometimes, months became years. The painful truth is that perfection often looks like preparation, but sometimes it is simply fear wearing a respectable disguise. We tell ourselves we are preparing, but deep inside, we are afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being judged, afraid of failing, afraid that people will see that we are not as capable as we hoped. And because we want everything to be perfect, we do nothing at all. But life doesn't reward the person who waits for the perfect moment. Life rewards the person who begins. The first step may be small. It may be uncomfortable. It may be messy. It may be imperfect. But it is still a step. And one imperfect step repeated again and again can take you much farther than perfect plans that never become action. This book is about letting go of that endless chase. It is about understanding that you don't need to be perfect to move forward. You only need to be willing to improve. Because progress is better than perfection. Chapter 1. The Perfection Trap. Perfection sounds beautiful. Who wouldn't want to do everything perfectly? We want the perfect career, the perfect relationship, the perfect body, the perfect home, the perfect business, the perfect book, the perfect social media page, the perfect life. But there is a problem. Perfection does not exist. It is an imaginary destination that keeps moving every time we get closer. You finish one task, and suddenly you notice another flaw. You achieve one goal, and immediately create a bigger goal. You improve one part of yourself, and instead of celebrating your growth, you focus on what is still missing. The mind says, not enough. You could have done better. Someone else is ahead of you. And slowly, achievement stops feeling like achievement. You become trapped in constant comparison. You begin believing that your current version is not worthy. But your current version is not supposed to be your final version. You are a work in progress. Think about a child learning to walk. A child doesn't stand up and say, I will walk only when I know I can do it perfectly. The child stands, falls, gets up, falls again, gets up again. And eventually, walking becomes natural. Imagine if the child decided that falling was embarrassing. Imagine if the child thought, maybe walking isn't for me. Human beings would never learn to walk. Fortunately, children don't think that way. They understand something adults often forget. Falling is part of learning. The same is true for almost everything in life. Your first business idea may not be perfect. Your first video may not be perfect. Your first book may not be perfect. Your first presentation may not be perfect. Your first attempt at anything may be awkward. That is normal. You are not supposed to be excellent at something you have never done before. You become excellent by doing it repeatedly. Chapter 2. Why we are afraid to begin. Sometimes perfectionism is not really about wanting perfection. It is about avoiding judgment. We are afraid someone will laugh. Afraid someone will criticize us. Afraid someone will say, you are not good enough. So instead of risking failure, we choose safety. We don't begin. And because we don't begin, we never discover what we could have become. Think about how many people have dreams that nobody knows about. A person wants to become a writer, but never writes. Someone wants to start a business, but never launches. Someone wants to sing, but never records their voice. Someone wants to learn a language, but keeps waiting for the right time. Someone wants to change their life, but keeps waiting to feel motivated. Years pass. The dream remains. The person remains exactly where they started. Not because they lacked talent, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they were waiting to feel ready. Here is something important to remember. You may never feel completely ready. Courage does not mean feeling no fear. Courage means moving forward while fear is present. You don't need confidence before you begin. Sometimes confidence comes because you began. The first step creates experience. Experience creates understanding. Understanding creates confidence. And confidence makes the next step easier. So don't wait for confidence. Start small. Let action teach you what thinking never could. Chapter 3. Done is better than perfect. There is a powerful difference between a finished, imperfect project and a perfect project that exists only in your imagination. A finished project can teach you something. An unfinished project cannot. A published book can be improved in the next edition. An unpublished book can only remain a dream. A business that launches can learn from customers. A business that never launches learns nothing. A video that gets only 10 views can teach you what to change. A video you never post teaches you nothing. Progress requires evidence. And evidence comes from action. You cannot think your way into experience. You have to do. This doesn't mean you should be careless. There is a difference between excellence and perfectionism. Excellence says, I will do my best. Perfectionism says, I will not begin until I know I can do everything perfectly. Excellence allows mistakes. Perfectionism fears them. Excellence focuses on improvement. Perfectionism focuses on flaws. Excellence asks, how can I make this better? Perfectionism asks, is this good enough for everyone? You don't need to satisfy everyone. You need to keep improving. Chapter 4. Your first version is allowed to be ugly. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful writer once wrote badly. Every successful entrepreneur once made inexperienced decisions. Every confident speaker once struggled with words. Every skilled artist once created imperfect work. We see people's finished products and forget their beginnings. We see the beautiful building, but not the years of construction. We see the successful business, but not the failed ideas. We see the confident person, but not the thousands of moments when they doubted themselves. We compare our beginning with someone else's middle. That comparison is unfair. Your first version doesn't need to impress the world. It needs to exist. Give yourself permission to create a bad first draft. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. Give yourself permission to learn slowly. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. There is no shame in being new at something. The only shame is allowing embarrassment to prevent growth. Your first attempt is not a final judgment of your ability. It is simply information. It tells you what to improve next. And that is incredibly valuable. Chapter 5. Small progress is still progress. Sometimes we don't recognize progress because it looks too small. You read 5 pages. You exercised for 10 minutes. You saved a little money. You wrote 1 paragraph. You learned 1 new skill. You made 1 phone call. You posted 1 video. You took 1 step towards something you care about. And then you think, that's not enough. But imagine repeating that small effort every day. 5 pages a day can become several books over time. 1 paragraph a day can become a book. Small savings can become financial security. 10 minutes of exercise can become a healthier lifestyle. 1 new skill can become a career. 1 small action can become a completely different life. The problem is that we want dramatic transformation immediately. We want to wake up tomorrow as a completely different person. But real transformation is usually quiet. It happens while nobody is watching. 1 decision. One habit, one lesson, one mistake, one improvement. Repeat it again and again. Progress is often invisible before it becomes obvious. A seed beneath the soil appears to be doing nothing, but underneath, something is happening. Roots are growing. And one day, something breaks through the surface. Your progress may be like that. Don't stop simply because you cannot see the results yet. Chapter 6. Stop comparing your Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 20. Social media has made comparison easier than ever. You see someone's success, their beautiful home, their business, their travels, their achievements, their appearance, their confidence, and suddenly your own life feels smaller. But remember, you are looking at a carefully selected moment. You don't see their entire story. You don't see their failures. You don't see their doubts. You don't see their sleepless nights. You don't see the years of work behind that moment. And most importantly, you don't see the circumstances that shaped their journey. Your journey is yours. Someone else's success does not make you a failure. Someone moving faster does not mean you are moving backward. Life is not a race where everyone must reach the same destination at the same time. Some people bloom early. Some bloom later. Some paths are straight. Others are full of turns. Some people start with advantages. Others begin with almost nothing. What matters is not whether your journey looks like someone else's. What matters is whether you are moving forward from where you were yesterday. Ask yourself, am I learning? Am I growing? Am I becoming wiser? Am I becoming stronger? Am I taking another step? If the answer is yes, then you are progressing. Chapter 7. The freedom of being imperfect. There is enormous freedom in accepting that you don't have to be perfect. You can make mistakes without hating yourself. You can fail without calling yourself a failure. You can change your mind. You can start again. You can say, I don't know. You can ask for help. You can learn from someone younger than you. You can admit that your previous decision was wrong. You can try something new even when you are inexperienced. Being imperfect does not make you weak. It makes you human. Sometimes we spend so much energy protecting our image that we forget to live. We want everyone to think we are successful. We want everyone to believe we have everything under control. But real strength is not pretending to have everything figured out. Real strength is being honest enough to say, I am learning. I made a mistake. I don't know yet. But I will keep going. Imagine how much energy you would have if you stopped trying to appear perfect. That energy could be used for growth. Instead of worrying about how you look while learning, focus on what you are learning. Instead of worrying about whether people approve of your journey, focus on whether the journey is meaningful to you. Your life becomes lighter when you stop performing for everyone else. Chapter 8. Progress requires patience. We live in a world of instant results. We want instant success, instant money, instant followers, instant recognition, instant transformation. But meaningful things usually take time. A tree doesn't become large overnight. A skill doesn't become mastery after one lesson. A strong relationship isn't built through one conversation. A successful business isn't created by one good day. A healthy life isn't built by one workout. Progress is cumulative. One day may not change your life, but hundreds of ordinary days can. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. You don't have to destroy yourself trying to change everything at once. Choose one thing. Work on it. Improve it. Rest. Return. Repeat. There will be days when you are highly motivated. There will also be days when you don't feel like doing anything. Don't depend entirely on motivation. Build habits. A person who takes small steps consistently will often go farther than someone who takes huge steps occasionally. You don't need to run every day. Sometimes you simply need to keep walking. Chapter 9. Learn to celebrate the small wins. We are often very good at noticing what went wrong, but we forget to notice what went right. You finished something? Celebrate it. You made progress? Acknowledge it. You tried again after failing? Be proud of yourself. You handled a difficult situation better than before? That matters. You didn't give up? That matters too. Celebrating small victories is not arrogance. It is recognition. Your brain needs evidence that your effort matters. So don't wait for the biggest achievement before allowing yourself to feel proud. Celebrate the process. Celebrate the discipline. Celebrate the courage. Celebrate the attempt. Maybe nobody else notices your progress. Notice it yourself. You don't need applause from the entire world to know that you are growing. Sometimes the most important person you need approval from is the person looking back at you in the mirror. Chapter 10. What if you fail? Let's talk about failure. Because perfectionism is often built around one fear. What if I fail? But ask yourself another question. What if you never try? Failure can hurt, but regret can stay much longer. A failed attempt can teach you. Not trying can leave you wondering for years. What could I have become? Failure is not always the opposite of success. Sometimes failure is part of the road to success. You try. You fail. You learn. You adjust. You try again. You become better. The second attempt is no longer the same attempt. You carry knowledge from the first. The third attempt carries knowledge from the first two. This is how progress works. Failure becomes expensive only when you refuse to learn from it. So when something doesn't work, don't immediately say, I am a failure. Say, this approach didn't work. There is a huge difference. One attacks your identity. The other gives you information. You are not your failed attempt. You are the person who can learn from it. Chapter 11. Give yourself permission to start again. Maybe you wasted time. Maybe you made poor decisions. Maybe you started something and quit. Maybe you lost money. Maybe you trusted the wrong people. Maybe you didn't use your opportunities wisely. Maybe you spent years waiting. It is easy to look backward and become angry with yourself. But the past cannot be changed. What can change is what you do next. You can start again. And starting again does not mean you have returned to zero. You return with experience. You know what didn't work. You know what you want to avoid. You understand yourself better. You have learned lessons you could not have learned any other way. So if you need to restart, restart. There is no expiration date on beginning again. A new chapter can begin at any age. You don't need permission from the world. You need a decision. One morning. One action. One new direction. And suddenly, the story begins changing. Chapter 12. Replace perfection with progress. From today, try replacing one question. Instead of asking, is this perfect? Ask, is this better than before? Instead of, am I successful? Ask, am I moving forward? Instead of, why am I not where they are? Ask, what can I do today to move one step closer? Instead of, what if I fail? Ask, what can I learn if this doesn't work? Instead of, am I ready? Ask, what is the smallest step I can take right now? These questions change everything. Because your attention determines your direction. If you focus on perfection, you will constantly see flaws. If you focus on progress, you will begin noticing possibilities. You don't need to become a completely different person overnight. You simply need to become slightly better than yesterday, and then do it again tomorrow. Chapter 13. Your life doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. There will always be unfinished things. There will always be problems. There will always be people who disagree with you. There will always be something you could improve. That is life. If you wait for everything to be perfect before allowing yourself to feel happy, you may spend your entire life waiting. A beautiful life can contain mistakes. A meaningful life can contain failure. A successful person can still have bad days. A strong person can still feel weak. A happy person can still cry. You don't need a perfect life. You need a life that feels real. A life where you keep learning. A life where you keep loving. A life where you keep trying. A life where you allow yourself to grow. Sometimes we become so focused on reaching the destination that we forget to experience the journey. Don't postpone your happiness until everything is fixed. There will always be something. Learn to appreciate today while working toward tomorrow. You can be grateful for where you are and still want to grow. Those two things can exist together. Conclusion: keep moving. One day, you will look back at the person you are today. You may smile. You may wonder why you worried so much. You may realize that many of the things you considered enormous were simply moments passing through your life. And perhaps you will wish you had started sooner. So don't wait. Start the book. Start the business. Start learning. Start exercising. Start saving. Start creating. Start healing. Start living. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to begin. Your first step may be tiny. Take it anyway. Your first attempt may be embarrassing. Make it anyway. Your first result may be disappointing. Learn from it anyway. Someone may criticize you. Keep going anyway. You may fail. Get up anyway. You may need to start again. Start again anyway. Because progress is not about becoming perfect. Progress is about becoming a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more capable, and a little closer to the person you want to become. Don't measure your life only by the distance you still have to travel. Look behind you sometimes. Look at how far you have already come. The person you are today was once a person you were trying to become. So give yourself credit. You are growing. You are learning. You are becoming. And that is enough for today. Tomorrow, you can take another step. You don't need to climb the entire mountain today. Just keep moving. One step. Then another. And another. Eventually, you will look back and realize something beautiful. The little steps you almost ignored were the steps that changed your life. So stop chasing perfection. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to become perfect before you allow yourself to begin. Begin now. Begin imperfectly. Begin afraid. Begin uncertain. Begin with whatever you have, and then improve. Because perfection is a destination that doesn't exist. But progress is real. Progress can be measured. Progress can be felt. Progress can transform you. So don't ask yourself, am I perfect yet? Ask yourself, am I moving forward? If you are, keep going. If you have stopped, take one small step. If you have fallen, get back up. If you have lost your way, choose a new direction. Remember, as long as you are alive, there is still another chapter waiting to be written. You don't need to write it perfectly. You only need to write the next line. Then the next. Then the next. Until one day, you look at the life you created and realize you didn't become perfect. You became something much more valuable. You became better than you were yesterday. And that was always the goal. Progress is better than perfection.